Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or if it's your first time here, hi, I'm Victoria. Before I get into this video, I just want to preface a couple of things. I think I am grouped into a category of creators known as trans YouTubers, which of course I'm fine with, in the sense that I am transgender and I am also a YouTuber. However, my content is not always focused on trans-related issues. I am going to be talking about veganism today, and I'm also going to be talking about cigarettes today. And I think those are two topics that people really don't like to talk about if they're scared to talk about them. So, if you're not vegan, I am not saying that you have to be vegan, and if you smoke cigarettes, I'm not saying that you have to stop smoking cigarettes. These are just my experiences, my opinions, and how I feel on the inside. I'm gonna talk about veganism first because I think that's the part that I'm more passionate about, and the stopping smoking kind of ties into that, so we'll get to that later. I think my history with the idea of veganism, sorry, mustache sweat, started around the age of like 14 or 15. I struggled with a lot of eating disorders, binge eating disorder in particular, a lot of body image issues, not only related to being trans, but also related to being overweight. My initial thought was, there's no way that I can't eat meat. That's impossible. There's no way that I can do that. I also thought in my head, very, very tiny spot in the back of my brain was like, you know what, I know deep down that these people are doing the right thing and doing the correct thing. I tried to be vegetarian at one point, I think around the age of 16 or 17. I didn't eat any meat for about 2 months. However, I was still eating dairy products, eggs, milk, that kind of stuff. And it was a underwhelming experience, I would say. One, because I cut out one source of toxins and poisons but didn't cut out the other source. Also, I didn't have the means to buy my own groceries and dictate what kind of food was in my household, so that obviously affected it as well and made it a bit harder. So the reason this all started is because the other day my boyfriend and I were both off of work, so we were just at home relaxing, lounging around in bed, and he was like, hey, I heard about this documentary on Netflix and I think it would be really cool to watch it. Now normally I just want to watch Forensic Files or Futurama or South Park, so I was just kind of like, I don't really want to watch it, but I of course obliged because he wanted to watch it. Also because I think deep down I was like, you know what, I think that this is something you should watch. The documentary is called What the Health. If I can find any information on it, like social media, anything in regards to that, I'll link it down in the description so that you can check it out if you want. It's on Netflix, at least it was as of a few days ago. Should still be on Netflix. I'm not going to give you a whole synopsis of the documentary. However, I will say, like I said, it's very eye-opening. The biggest point that I do want to cover is the fact that the meat industry and the dairy industry is a business. Huge associations, so like the National Association of Cancer, and I know that it's not the correct title for that, but you know what I'm saying. The big associations for diseases, so like cancer, heart disease, diabetes, whatever they're called, it's like national, you know what I'm talking about. On their websites, they recommend as part of their diet plans. So say for instance you go on a website about preventing diabetes, or you go on a website about preventing heart disease, they're going to always have a recommended diet or recipes that are recommended to you to help you combat said disease. These recipes all contain meat products and dairy products, and it's marketed as a high protein, low carb diet per se. The guy who created this documentary and the main star of this documentary, I do not remember his name. I want to say that it's Alex, but I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me on that. Like I said, I'll leave everything down below. He went ahead and investigated why this was so, because so much research has been done in regards to how a plant-based diet drastically improves your mental health, physical health, and can actually cure diseases without you know, having to take medicine and having to do all of these man-made techniques to your body to get rid of a disease that you otherwise could have prevented. Every time he would attempt to make a phone call or attempt to set up an interview with an association regarding why they're recommending meat and dairy on their websites as a remedy or a cure for these diseases rather, they would always get really fishy about it and they would decline the interview. They would be okay with it at first, and then once he would bring up the fact that he wanted to talk about diet, they would stray away. He ended up getting an interview with the head of one of these associations. It might have been heart disease, diabetes, cancer. I'm not particularly sure which one it was, but he ended up landing an interview, and I'm pretty sure the way he bypassed that is by not prefacing that he was going to talk about diet. So I'm pretty sure this guy had no fucking clue. He thought this was just gonna be an interview about his association. He gets into this interview with this guy and everything's going great. You know, they're talking about the foundation and how it's helped so many people and how they're treating this disease. Then the documentary creator brings up diet and brings up a study that shows that a plant-based diet has been shown to drastically prevent the disease. The look on this guy's face just fucking dropped into pure rage, and you're going to understand why. The interviewer just basically threatened this guy's whole livelihood by exposing the fact that these organizations are in the business of treating these diseases. They are not in the business of preventing these diseases. And what can be done to prevent diseases? Plant-based diet. Bam! Alex, I keep calling him Alex. I'm pretty sure his name's Alex, and I really hope it's Alex. Keep showing this guy all kind of studies about plant-based diets and how they're overwhelmingly healthier for you than a meat and dairy-based diet. And he's freaking the fuck out. He gets so mad, he ends up getting up like 10 seconds later and is like, we're done, like wanting to cut it off, but he keeps persisting and telling this guy, why don't you want to talk about diet? Like, why can't we just talk about diet? There's studies showing that it helps. So if you're in this business of wanting to cure these diseases, why can't we talk about it? Because if a disease is prevented, then they have no patients. They have no one to treat, no one to get money from, to keep funding and funding and funding. So that's the point of that. I'm not gonna ramble on about that. You get that. Corporations want to treat diseases. They don't want to prevent them because then they lose business. I completely forgot to talk about the most important fucking part of this, which was my point from the beginning of how the meat and dairy industry are businesses as well. When you go on the websites for these associations, Cancer Association, Heart Disease Association, all of these businesses who are trying to cure these diseases, the sponsors for them, the people who are funding them, and the people who are giving them money to run are people associated with the meat and dairy industry and fast food and all of these companies who are trying to feed you toxins and poisonous shit. So that's a really big thing to understand. They're working together. So I just wanted to clear that up really quickly. I don't know how I fucking forgot to say that, but yeah, big thing. I really honestly recommend that if you're interested, or if you just know that you're never going to be a vegan, but you're open-minded and you're open-minded to hearing another side of things, then I highly recommend that you watch it regardless. I have been vegan now for almost a week. The way that my body feels is like it's never felt before. I've lost so much fat. I feel so much lighter. My insides just feel like they're working how they're supposed to work. I'm not tired anymore. I'm not lazy anymore. I feel like I'm eating. As someone who's dealt with eating disorders, binge eating, this just kind of simplifies everything. It's like you eat whenever you're hungry, and you eat things that aren't processed, that aren't altered by humans. You eat things that grow from the ground, and you eat things that are natural and good for you, and you're not putting man-made things and hormones and chemicals and who else knows what the fuck what into your body. And I think your body really appreciates that, and it's like, hey, thank you for stopping this. And I think that's why you get this overwhelming feeling of just well-being and goodness, and I just feel amazing. I think the biggest motivator for me is that you have to change your mindset on food And I've always known this, but it was so hard for me to apply it until now. You've got to look at food as fuel for your body. You've got to look at food as what you're putting into your body to make it run. Kind of like you put gas in your car. You have to look at food as an energy source. You cannot look at food as pleasure. Look at it as, this is what I'm putting into my body to make it run better, and ultimately you're gonna feel amazing. Now, where the smoking comes in, I have been smoking a pack of cigarettes a day for at least a year now. Before that, it was not as severe, but that's what it led up to. Once I kind of realized that I wanted to take this vegan journey, I also realized that I wanna eliminate other sources of poison in my life. I don't want to be vegan and vouch for being vegan and promote it, and then at the same time smoke 20 cigarettes a day and harm my body in a completely different way, unrelated to food. Ultimately, doing those two things together have really helped me. Also, a little niche tip: if you want to go vegan and you also smoke cigarettes, this message is for those people. I have tried to stop smoking cigarettes so many times, and I've always been unsuccessful. However, I feel like me doing these two things together, I'm more so focused on being vegan and making sure I'm not eating anything that has animal byproduct or dairy or anything like that in it. So I'm not as focused on quitting cigarettes. I think you really have to distract yourself from stopping smoking, and I think that this has really helped. So if you're considering those two things, I highly recommend doing them together. A lot of people say, oh, you shouldn't try to change so many things at once, it's gonna shock your body, or you should focus on one thing at a time. I truly feel, in my opinion, as someone who has tried to stop smoking for a long time, that doing these two major things at once really helps, because you're not completely focused on the fact that you can't smoke. You're also focused on the fact that you're trying to do better for your body. I'm definitely willing to make more videos about this. Is my channel going to become Freely the Bananas channel demographic? No, it's not. I'm not going to be making videos about being vegan every day, but it is something that I'm going to bring up on my channel, solely because it's something that has greatly impacted my life in a huge way and in a positive way. So that's something that I want to talk about. You guys, as my viewers, I truly do care about you. So if something has helped me so much as this has, of course, I want to pass it on to you for your consideration. Like I said, if this is your first time here, all of my social media is in the description, so be sure to follow me on there. That way you can keep up with me if you want to while I'm not posting on YouTube. Also, subscribe. I will see you guys next week, and have a lovely, safe day. And don't take life so seriously. Enjoy it. Be the best person that you can be, and fuel yourself with good energy and positivity. I love you so much, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.